Wildfire smoke from the Pacific Northwest in Canada still creating some bad air quality here in the metro area. Just look at this video from Sky 9 from about an hour ago. And this is some slight improvement from the past couple of days. That's still how bad it is. We know air pollution, though, can be harmful to our bodies, of course.
It's also known to affect our mental health. Here to explain why this is our mental health expert, Dr. Sheryl Ziegler. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
So how does air pollution contribute to depression?
Yeah, it's so interesting. So the other day I saw that alert on my phone, like many of us, that said the air quality index was 151. And it seemed to be like a big alert. So I looked that up, and that's where we're getting to the point where we see how it affects our physical health, but there's a mental health component here. And so what happens is there's particles in the air, and they get ingested by us because 9 out of 10 people in the world breathe in polluted air. And so when that happens, it can go into your bloodstream, it can go into your brain and actually affect the way your neurotransmitters work and function in your brain. And one of the big consistent outcomes, study after study, is an increase in depression.
You forget that your mental health really is caused by your physical health as well. They're intertwined. Are there any groups of people that might be more vulnerable to this?
Yes, children, teens, and then the older populations. So within those, they either have developing systems, obviously, with children. And so we know respiratory and we know cardiovascular, but again, that mental health component. When you are, even just when you are hot, when you get irritable, you get more tired, it could affect your sleep. Not everybody has air conditioning. And so those are the kinds of things. You might have a pre-existing condition, or you might even have a pre-existing what we call vulnerability, and then you have this high heat index, which can then exacerbate those symptoms, which we know all of us have experienced when we don't sleep well, when we're irritable, we get moodier, more irritable, it can affect our mood. Right. So, and of course with older populations, we're always really focused on that physical part, but there's the same thing with them, there is that mental part as well.
What evidence supports the link between the two?
So it's really interesting. There's lots of studies, even recently in JAMA, which is a big journal publication. The universities and studies are looking at this because it starts off as these environmental concerns. The World Health Organization is also really calling for a lot more research on this because we want to give more reasons to inspire people to look at things like air quality and emissions and those kinds of things. So there really is a lot of research about it, and we're talking about it, but not enough. I bet there's a lot of people maybe listening that have never thought about, the mental health outcomes of poor air quality.
Right. Why would you if you're not told about it, first of all? What can be done about this?
So there's all the practical stuff that I think some people hear. Truly, you have to stay indoors, which is another factor that can contribute to that depression, right? So you have to stay indoors, or if you're exercising or doing something, they're talking about bringing that indoors. That's another piece that can disrupt your mood. But also thinking about all of the environmental things that we're hearing about, decreasing emissions, and even in urban settings, really trying to populate them with more trees, with, sort of urban forestation, those kinds of ideas, so that we can truly get air moving and filtered in natural ways. These things are all really important.
It is so weird though, because it's a balance. You're like, okay, we'll be inside. It's like, well, being outside helps with depression too. So
yes,
you really
and getting that energy out.
Yeah, you got to find a
and
balance.
that's, I think, when their air quality index is poor. We'll see it. You get it on your phone. Then that's when they really advise to stay in. So today, like this morning, is moderate. I looked.
You're like, I need to get outside.
What is today? Yeah. So today's moderate. We're probably okay, but this is going to just continue to be, I think, a growing issue, and that's what the concern is.
It's another factor you got to consider when it's like this outside.
Yeah.
All right.
Dr. Ziegler, thank you so much for coming in.